Okay, good morning. Get you started here with the injury update. So we'll not practice today. We'll be in walkthrough, but won't practice. Will be Josh Allen, Terrell Bernard, Joey Bosa, Daquan Jones, Jordan Poyer, and Reggie Gilliam. Reggie is out with an illness today. No injury other than the illness. Dalton Kincaid, Dawson Knox, Cam Lewis, Jordan Phillips, all limited, and that Matt Prater will be full today. So no players will be returning from IR this week at this point. So with that, I'll take your questions.
Was Poyer in there at all?
Poyer was in there. Yeah, Poyer was DNP today. Yeah.
Have you made any decisions on who will be playing on Sunday?
Yeah, really business as usual. You know, we'll take it one day at a time and just see how the week unfolds. Obviously, a lengthy list here, and we got to start with that to begin with as we go through the week.
How has Josh done since we talked to you on Monday? Like, how's he progressing with his injury?
Yeah, he looks like he's moving in the right direction. Again, we'll see how it goes this week.
Sean, is Dalton an improvement from back to starting the week off a bit this week?
Yes. Yep. He's in a better spot than the way he ended the week. So, again, we'll take that one day at a time and see where it goes.
You mentioned a little setback for a guy that didn't have a lot at the time. Is there any more clarity around the situation?
Yeah, so he had a knee cleanup meniscus Monday of this week. So, but he looks like he's doing well from that, and so he's now working through that as well as the bicep there.
Was the knee something that happened prior to the bicep injury, or was it since the bicep?
During the rehab process. Yeah.
Sean, you talked about a couple weeks ago wanting to savor the last couple moments in the stadium. Is there anything in particular for Sunday that you want to make sure you enjoy or that you're looking forward to enjoying? Understanding that you obviously still have work and business to do with it.
Yeah. No, yeah. I mean, we want to make sure that we do things to our standard, the standard that we've set with our culture here, and just try and, like anything else, try and find moments of gratitude through the the day of the game and experience, looking around a little bit and being appreciative for always having the opportunity, but also the fans and the environment that has been so special here. I mean, driving into the stadium and the new stadium being a little bit of same location, but not the same exact situation. So, I think that's really where it starts. And I've been through this a little bit before. When I was younger in Philadelphia, where we had Veteran Stadium over the years, and then we moved to a new stadium. So just each stadium is a little bit different from the other, and so this is such a storied stadium with so many memories and traditions and whatnot. Just try and take that in as we go through the game, and then focus where my focus needs to be. So.
Anything at all you talk about with players about just the circumstance of this game being possibly the finale there, and no matter who's playing, trying to put on the best show.
Yeah, the guys are aware of it. It's interesting again because some guys have been here longer than others and have more of a maybe a tie to the stadium with the memories they've built over the years and the experiences and the wins we've had, and then other guys are probably more along the lines of, hey, just let me play a game. I'm trying to do my best here, and let's just focus on that. So, which I respect, and I get both ends of the spectrum. So. For me, as the head coach, I have to find middle ground for all of it, and take it that way.
You got your eye on any souvenir?
What seat do you sit in over there?
My seat?
I might maybe I take your seat. If you see it under my arm on the way out, you'll know. Yeah.
Sean, since James is still in the league for the rushing title, obviously there's news to be played this week too. How does that impact what you might do with him come Sunday, knowing that that's within reach?
Yeah, that's definitely on my mind. Again, we'll see where that goes this week in terms of how the week unfolds here. That's a heck of an accomplishment if one can accomplish that, and or in this case a team or an offense can accomplish that. So I'm aware of it. We'll see where it goes here.
You touched on it there, but how is that a reflection of more than just James?
Yeah, like anything else, the running game is and probably more than anything else, is, you know, a product of the whole team, in this case, the whole offense, chipping in and doing their job. And that means, as I've said many times prior, wide receivers have to block in order to get the yards that you want, especially if you want to, you know, once you get beyond the second level into the third level and beyond. So that's just one example of how it's such a, you know, an offensive accomplishment, or really even a team accomplishment. So it's, as we always say, and it's not coach speak, it's never really just about one person, but it is a heck of an accomplishment. If it can be accomplished, it would be for James in this case. So, you know, we're all pulling for him. So.
Last one on Ed. Are you still in the same spot where you're hopeful that he can get back, or do you not have clarity at this point?
Probably adds a little bit of cloudiness to his return window, I'll call it. So I don't have as much clarity on that return. But there's still a chance that it's somewhere where they initially forecasted it to be.
John, what's the balance between seeding versus, you know, keeping guys as fresh as possible heading into the season?
Yeah. I think I mentioned after the game just having to factor in a lot of different variables into the situation this week. But at the end of the day, when you boil it down and simplify it, it's how do we improve as a football team? How do we play to our standard? And really that starts today with how we handle today as a football team and how we improve. That's really where it starts. In order to improve, you got to get egos and pride out of the way and have the right approach and the right mindset to improve. And that's really where it starts, and that's what I'm most interested in today. As it relates to the game and, you know, different things, there's obviously a lot of different paths and approaches we could take. But at the end of the day, the one I always come back to is what's best for the team. So that's really where we're at right now.
In that sense, and given the fact that you were keeping a close eye on Josh already on Sunday, is there value of putting him out there versus giving that foot a rest for a week this weekend?
Yeah, there certainly is. There's also value in taking another approach as well. So it's, you know, that's what we're going through right now. It all starts with, number one is his health, and I could tell you that he's in a better spot, according to Nate, early this week than he was last week. So that's all I can tell you right now, and we'll just take a we'll see approach as we go through the week here.
Does the fact, Sean, that it's so wide open in terms of who might play in the first round impact it either? It would be hard to kind of start game planning because I think there's 6 or 7 different teams that play.
Yeah, there are, and it's probably a little bit, you know, different for us. I think maybe we experienced this, you know, 1 or 2 times in previous years, but not all that frequently. So again, that's when you start getting all these different things kind of popping up. It's, hey, what is the best thing that we can do? And that is just hone in on us and us improving as a team and doing what's necessary for us to improve. So there's, you know, different things that go into that as well. So, you know, that's the best that we can do, and that's where our focus needs to be.
Does the fact that last week went the way that went, particularly offensively, and you didn't have the results that you would have probably hoped for, factor into that when you talk about, you know, improvement and maybe wanting to see it in that regard?
Yeah, perhaps. And where that really begins is at practice, right? Well, even before practice, things that we have to identify as a staff of, hey, these are the areas we need to improve in, and then what are the solutions and the adjustments to improve in those areas, and then we go practice them starting today. We build awareness with the players and then go practice them today, and then we go from there, really. So it's, you know, that's definitely a consideration.
What have you seen from Matthew Judon so far?
Yeah, I mean, limited sample. You know, I think he's been with us 2 weeks now, and the first week was called a normal week, but we've not been practicing. We've just been doing walkthroughs on Wednesdays, so that really would have left in the first week just one full practice and then a Friday practice. Last week we walked through both days and then had a Friday practice. So small window of a sample, but he's been pleasant to have around, professional in his approach, and has done a good job, working with the scout team in the limited time that we've had him here. So we'll see, how today goes and into tomorrow in the week here. Guys good? All right, thank you. And Happy New Year to you guys.
Thank you, you too.